Link engaged.
Visit us at teamspeak.com.
Welcome everyone to game number 1. We're here on Metalopolis, spawning cross positions. So, if you wanted to see a long macro game, this is the setup for it. We've got in the 9 o'clock position, we've got the blue Terran, FXOmOoNan, spawning over there at 9 o'clock. We've got a good game out of the Protoss, already calling good game, preemptively, several minutes ahead, spawning as the red Protoss.
Absolutely, very aggressive style by HwangSin, opening up a GG. Shouldn't influence the game too much, I hope. Everything should be pretty standard, as we were talking about earlier. Moonan, oh no, actually that was major, never mind. Forget everything I said, but it is crossbow, so as you were saying, it's gonna be a long macro game, especially on Metalopolis. It's so hard because it is so far away from your opponent. You can't really put so much pressure on in the early game.
Yeah, definitely. Something a lot of people have been looking forward to now is FXO have announced that they're going to be going over to Korea for the to take part in the GSTL. Moonan going to be part of that as well, so he's really going to have to look to. He's already an incredible player, but going to be leveling up his skills even more, getting over there to Korea, playing with the Koreans, and being part of that team league.
Yeah, definitely. I think Moonan is a player with a lot of potential. When I played him like a pretty long time ago, I didn't think I was really losing games against him ever, but over several months he improved a lot, and going to Korea is probably only going to help him, especially going into such a nice environment, actually moving with your entire team more or less.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's one of the problems a lot of players go over. You feel a little bit isolated, you're trapped in, say, the GOM house, and you're playing ladder all day, you don't have actual training partners. That's one of the benefits that Team Liquid actually being part of the team house over there. With OGS, that's one of the benefits they've had. We see Moonan opening up with a gasless barrack, so he's going to get that orbital command, get his first Marine to deny scouting, now scouting with his SCV, and going to be going for a fairly fast expansion here. Let's take a look over in HwangSin's base. He's putting down that cybernetic score, very standard, getting his second pylon, and we're going to have to wait to see what comes out here. Once the cybernetic score finishes, that will really tell what he's looking to do.
I would be very surprised to see a second gas by Protoss, to be honest. I think he's just gonna go for an early Nexus as well. Moonan finally slowing down his command center, a little bit delayed actually. Could have been just a tad fast, but no big deal anyways.
Yeah, that's one of those things. As we move towards perfect play, it's going to start to become a focus, but I think StarCraft 2 is still a little bit away from that, so not that big of a deal. With the command center now going down, let's see if HwangSin actually scouted that. No, he didn't, but it looks like he was well aware that it was going to be coming up, as he's responding by throwing down his Nexus, and he's now got Warp Gate complete, chrono boosting out that first Stalker to take care of the SCV scout, and Moonan not getting his gas yet. He's going up for barracks number 2 and 3, still not dropping that refinery.
Yeah, I like that a lot, especially on crossbow. Why would you get your early gas? You might as well just pump out a ton of Marines to be completely safe against any kind of early pressure. I mean, even if Protoss expands early on, you can just get a ton of warp gates and start making a lot of units. Instead, you just delay your gas a little bit and get both of them at once. Because honestly, if you go such a fast expansion, you need a lot of units, and if you get your gas too early, you're not going to be able to support anything anyways.
Very true. We see Moonan has actually responded by taking both of his refineries, putting 3 SCVs into both. His command center has now finished starting the upgrade towards orbital command. He's got his 3 barracks on the way. Let's see what sort of add-ons he gets after this round of Marines completes. He's not going to be... Okay, so we'll take a look back there. Just continuing with Marine production, as you said, stockpiling his gas just a little bit. I wonder if he's going to be... I've got to imagine he's going Tech Lab add-ons, not going to wait for a factory, but I'm waiting to see what he goes with.
Yeah, no, he actually does go for factory, and I could actually assume that he might follow it up with Banshee, because he might just want to get tanks and Marines to be really safe and then follow it up with Cloak Banshee, because it's quite unusual for a Terran to go fast expand with no gas and then add Banshees, and could maybe strike HwangSin in a vulnerable spot.
We've got a little bit of Stalker Micro here. You can see HwangSin was a little bit surprised that there's so many Marines. You expect after the fast expansion, Terran's going to be putting up a bunker, something to be safe, going over to Tech Lab, and you're going to be able to do a little bit of harassment with the Stalkers, but he moves up, takes a lot of shield damage before trying to deal with these Marines. We've still got the 8 Marines charging and going to capture that eastern Zelnaga watchtower to give him complete vision of the eastern side. Meanwhile, HwangSin has moved up to 4 warp gates, now getting a forge, so he may be aware that the Cloak Banshee follow-up may be coming. I'm going to imagine he would be going for a Twilight Council next, but just stockpiling gas a little bit. He's got a lot of options here, waiting to see which one he decides to move towards.
Yeah, I think he probably just adds the forge to get upgrades, because from what he has seen, Banshees are like nothing you would ever expect. And actually he's correct anyways, because Moonan is just going for a standard play anyways, going for a reactor, adding it to the starport, and going for mass medivac play. Moonan is a little bit too active with his units on the map. I must admit, it's kind of dangerous what he's doing. He would just lose everything if HwangSin would move out, but so far it hasn't damaged him and might actually give him an advantage. At least he sees a lot of the map, can deny scouting, can deny bases, but it's very, very risky.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any of those barracks tech lab upgrades completed yet. He's got stim about 80% complete, but no combat shields, no concussive shells. If he gets chased down by a couple stalkers, he's going to lose that entire army. But just continuing to be out on the map, chasing away this one stalker, and we haven't really had that first big confrontation, which is going to dictate the pace of the game. And look at this, HwangSin dropping down 3 more gateways and chrono boosting out that +1 ground armor, which does also well against those Marines.
Absolutely, you're gonna be expecting a 6-gate timing attack pretty soon, and if Moonan doesn't throw down bunkers, it's gonna be very difficult for him to defend. However, he went for extremely fast medivacs, which is very unusual, and if he has perfect micro, he might even be able to defend it without bunkers.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be dropping once he's completed his tech. He's got those medevacs out with the reactors. He's going to have to start dropping some more barracks as he's going to start stockpiling minerals here, or he's going to have to put down an expansion, but he sees the aggressive Protoss moving towards him, reacting nicely by putting down 3 bunkers, and he's got to hold this 6-gate attack, which is coming up, and the sentries are moving forward. This is a little bit dangerous. He will be able to force field completely. The SCV's already preemptively pulled, but not in the greatest position. They could easily be isolated by some force fields. Guardian Shield going up to do a little bit of harassment with those sentries, but it looks like it's not going to come to fruition. HwangSin continuing to warp units. It looks like he's completely set on this 6-gate attack. This is crazy. Guardian Shield going up, moving forward. He's going to start to go to work and putting the force fields down, completely isolating all the bunkers. SCV's trying to go around to get in position to repair the bunkers, but it's not going to happen. 1 bunker down, Stim going down to try to deal with these units, but it's just so many units. I don't believe that Moonan can hold this. This is just the definition of a PvT timing attack and completely ripping to shreds FXOmOoNan. He's going to have to tap out of this game very quickly.
Perfect counter by HwangSin against what Moonan was doing. Now there's a drop in the main base of HwangSin, but I doubt that is going to be doing anything. And it's even going to be deflected by the initial stalkers being warped in. While Moonan is losing his natural, and there are just so many units, and there are just a couple of barracks units which won't be able to do anything really.
So TLO, walk me through this. What should have Moonan done to react to this 6-gate attack?
Well, I think he was really out of position with his first idea of getting the double drop. As you were seeing, he was loading all his units into 2 medivacs and wanted to be really aggressive. So his units weren't really in line and being able to defend the bunkers too well. And him loading up 1 medivac still and going for the attack was a stupid decision, because if you're able to deflect the 6-gate timing attack by Protoss, you're actually in a really good spot as Terran. Even if you lose a lot of economy, a Bioball army with medivacs just completely rips apart a Protoss warp-gate unit composition if you actually manage to gather enough units.
Yeah, it did seem like a little bit of a strange decision there by Moonan. It looks like he was aware of the Protoss moving out. He threw down those 3 bunkers so he wouldn't die, but just splitting his army, as you mentioned in the drops. He just didn't have enough at home to try to deal with that. But it is an extremely strong push. You get that +1 armor, you get a lot of sentries to completely force field, and Terran really needs to be on his toes to deal with that. And we can see Moonan just made the wrong decision there, trying to drop while defending that 6K push, and it just didn't work out with him. So that is going to be game number 1, wrapping up very quickly. We saw a very strong timing attack by the Protoss HwangSin there in game number 1, and we saw why he's on a Korean pro gaming team. Game number 2 is going to be Moonan's map choice, and looks like he is going to take it over to, I'm just trying to load up the replay here. It looks like it's going to be Tal'Darim Altar for game number 2 TVP.
Beautiful map. Even though it's a little bit imbalanced from positions, because some positions are very vulnerable to being attacked by siege tanks and walking up cliffs with Colossus, I still think it's one of the best maps in the entire map pool of any tournament, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting dynamic play that goes on before the players get complete control of their 2 chokes into their second natural and their natural position. A lot of opportunities there. And then once they control that, there's that interesting time where there's a lot of tank and Colossus harassment opportunities, as you mentioned, and the decision, where are you going to take your 4th base? Do you expand into another main, or do you take that more accessible 4th base, which are at 12, 6, 3, and 9, but they don't give you the opportunity to grab more bases? And that is really going to come down to, where do they spawn? Does one player have a better advantage attacking, or have they spawned cross positions, and that's going to draw it into a longer game where we may see more of a split map scenario?
Absolutely. Very interesting play is happening at the watchtowers every single time that map is being played as well. So there's a lot of positional play on Tal'Darim. It's such a big map, so you can kind of swing around a lot of places, but there are still a few strongholds on the map you always want to hold. So I see players dancing around on the map a lot, which is interesting.
Right, so I think with that being said, if you are ready, TLO, we're going to jump into game number 2, see if FXOmOoNan can bring it back.
Absolutely, let's go.